Goeiemiddag. Dis weer tyd vir ons lekker saam kuier. We are on session number 5. And this afternoon I want to speak to you about a very, very familiar verse. So many times young Christians ask me the question, Elspeth, how do I know what is the will of God for my life? En hoe weet ek wat is God se wil vir my lewe? Hoe weet ek is sy perfekte wil? Wel, ek wil vanmiddag met jou Romeine 12 vers 2 deel wat 'n baie bekende vers is. Hy sê word nie aan hierdie wêreld gelykvormig nie, maar word verander deur die vernuwing van julle gemoed, sodat julle kan beproef wat die goeie en welgevallige en volmaakte wil van God is. So this verse tells us that we be constantly renewed by the transforming of our minds, so that we will know what is the acceptable, good, and perfect will for God, for our lives. And to be able to do that, it means that I must constantly check my mind. I must constantly check my thought life, constantly make sure, what am I thinking about? Because if I don't think what I think about, it will lead to stinking thinking. This is a saying from Joyce Meyer, which I really love. And I want to leave a thought with you. And this thought is as such. I had a little picture this morning when I was thinking about today's session. En ek het gedink aan 'n tapperbakkie in die yskas. A little Tupperware container in your fridge. And sometimes if that container has been there for a bit too long, you're not quite sure what is in there. And when you open the lid up, you can get one of two things. You can either get a very strong stench and a smell that you say, oh my goodness, what is in here and for how long has it been in here? Or you can get a very fresh, tempting smell of melted cheese or chocolate or something, which would make you want to eat that or enjoy that. And that is what happened in our thought lives. If my thought life is not what it should be, the moment my mouth opens up like a Tupperware container, whatever is in my thought life runs out of my mouth. It leaves a fragrance. And it starts with a thought. It begin net met 'n enkele gedagte. It's a negative thought, a fearful thought, an anxious thought. And then this thought changes into an emotion. So the moment I have this thought that I'm not good enough, or that I'm not accepted, or that I'm not approved of, it leads to this emotion of disappointment and anxiety. So dit los my 'n gevoel, né? En dan hierdie gevoel los 'n gesindheid. This leaves an attitude. So every time I feel this emotion of resentment or rejection or something, it leaves an attitude of rejection. And then I start to reject because I feel rejected. This attitude then leads like to a certain behavior. Now I don't want to be between the girls anymore. I don't want to go to Bible school anymore. I don't want to go to cell groups anymore. I don't want to be involved at the teachers meeting anymore. Want hierdie gesindheid lei na 'n gedrag toe, né? En dan hierdie gedrag van my lei na 'n gewoonte toe. So nou leer ek 'n gewoonte gedrag aan wat alles begin het by 'n gevoel. Alles het begin by 'n gedagte. So my behavior now becomes a habit. A habit of being nasty, a habit of being angry, a habit of being rejected, because I had a thought that I wasn't good enough. So my question to you today is, what is in your thought life? What is in your Tupper container that is in your fridge? And if you open up that lid, it either leaves a good fragrance or it doesn't leave a good fragrance at all. The Bible is very clear in Philippians 4 verse 8. And it says there that we must think about whatever is kind, whatever is winsome, whatever is gracious, of virtue and of excellence, whatever is honorable and noble and pure and true. That is the things that we should be thinking about. So is this easy? No, I'm going to lie to you if I say to you that it's easy. It's not easy. It's like working in a gym. I have to check my thoughts. I have to check my thoughts constantly. If there's a negative emotion in my whole body, in my body language, I must check where does that emotion comes from, because that emotion comes from a thought, and majority of the time that thought is birthed in a lie that I'm not good enough, that I'm not accepted, that I'm not beloved, and that causes a reaction of an attitude, of a habit, of a continuous behavior that I live out. So what should we do? That's a good question. we should constantly check our thought life. We should constantly renew our minds, because what is going on in my mind not just stir my emotion, but that is what runs out of my mouth the moment that lid opens up. But it's not so difficult, because Christ within me gives me the strength to be able to change this and to renew my mind. The Bible wouldn't tell us to renew our minds if it wasn't possible. So dis heeltemal moontlik om jou gedagtes te vernuwe elke dag en daai gedagtes gevangene te neem en dit te onderwerp aan die woord van Christus. Ek seën jou in hierdie lieflike dag. Totsiens.